Hi there, everyone. I'm Ashley Billington, and welcome into the Campfire, where we break down districts from around the greater Houston area. This week, we are deep diving into 156A, and it's a really good district. Let's see who's in it in our film session.
2021 was supposed to be Klein Cain's year, and it still might. But the Hurricanes took a major hit when 2,000-yard rusher Jadon Blue decided to opt out his senior year. Though they will miss one of the state's top running backs, don't count out James Clancy's team quite yet. They still return quarterback Carson Roper, top receiver Matthew Golden, and defensive player of the year Lakia Rawls. Klein Cain will be a playoff team and should have enough firepower to compete for the district title. Last year's district champ Tomball Memorial was hit hard by graduation. Led by Joseph Manjack, the Wildcats averaged well over 7 touchdowns a game last year and should have enough waiting in the wings to put up more big numbers this year. Tomball High could be a team to keep an eye on for a playoff spot as well. They return dual-threat quarterback Cale Helms and receiver Jayden Gray. The Cougars missed the playoffs on a tiebreaker last year, so they have all the motivation they need to make a run this year. Klein Oak will be bringing sack leader Dorian Gates to a solid defense. A.J. Broussard and a defensive backfield will be a problem for opponents as well. Klein Collins stumbled their way into the playoffs last year due to injuries, but this year the team is younger and maybe a little hungrier as well. It will be difficult for Klein and Klein Forest to get wins in this district, but they both feel they are building something special at each program.
Some tough teams in this district, but they are stacked with phenomenal athletes. Let's introduce you to some of them and our players on the rise.
At Klein Cain, Matthew Golden has been the standout wide receiver in this district. Last year, he got 43 catches for over 1,000 yards and 7 scores. For his career at Cain, Golden has 93 catches and 20 touchdowns. He also kills it in the return game as he was the district special team player of the year. Golden has offers from SMU, TCU, and Arkansas, amongst others. Richard Rodriguez of Tomball Memorial returns as the district's best running back. Rodriguez ran for almost 2,000 yards and 25 touchdowns for the high-scoring Wildcats last year. Just under 6 feet, Rodriguez can find his way to the end zone, and Coach Sam Parker will be looking for more out of Richard, as a lot of his firepower graduated last year. On defense, Klein Cain's Lakia Rawls returns as the district defensive MVP. Rawls had 78 tackles and 7 sacks as he helps the Hurricanes to a second-place finish in the district. Don't let the sacks fool you. He can also shut down the ground attack as well. The defensive tackle also forced a couple of fumbles and caused a safety, as he will anchor a strong defense in 2021. Another big-time player on the defensive line is Klein Oaks' Dorian Gates. You might as well call him Pac-Man because he eats up quarterbacks. Gates led the district in sacks with 10 as he gets off the line fast and is in the quarterback's face before he knows it. Gates was only second-team All-District last year, but something tells me that'll change this year. Dorian has committed to play at Vanderbilt.
Really great players in 156A, and these teams are led by strong men as their head coaches. Let's introduce you to one of them in our Media Day segment.
All right, 156A, we're here with head coach of Klein Cain, James Clancy. Coach Clancy, what a powerful district y'all had last year. A lot of super offensive teams with you guys leading the way there. I don't think you scored less than 3 touchdowns in a game last year. What do you think will play out this year with Tomball Memorial graduating so many guys? How do you think the district's going to look this year?
You know, I'm glad there's only 7 teams because I don't know if we could fit any more good ones in there. I mean, it's a district that from top to bottom has got a bunch of talent. You know, everybody's extremely competitive, got a bunch of really good coaching staffs. You know, the teams that didn't make it into the playoffs last year, you know, all had beaten, you know, other teams that had made the playoffs. You know, it just kind of goes to show you the talent level and the quality of football, you know, on this side of Houston. We know that every week's going to be a challenge. You got to bring your A game every week. But, you know, it's definitely something that we feel playoff ready for those of us that are fortunate enough to make it because, you've had to play serious football the entire year. This senior group is particularly pretty special to me. They were my first group that I got to start working with when they were in the intermediate schools when I was hired, and didn't have a high school or any high school kids to coach at that time, and got to go and work with them at their intermediates and get to know them. And so this season's been a few years in the making now, and we're excited about this senior group.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach Clancy. I can't wait to see how this exciting district plays out, and we will talk to you later.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks so much.
Coach Clancy, thank you so much for joining us here on the Campfire. You can catch the entire interview with the Klein Cain head man on Thursday on our social media platforms. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Now, we bring in the Inside High School insider, Matt Harris, for the district breakdown.
All right, district breakdown 15-6A. I got my man Matt Harris with us, Inside High School Sports Insider. Man, this is an interesting district because Klein Cain was probably one of the favorites. They may still be, but with Jadon Blue opting out, that kind of puts a wrinkle in the works. What do you think about that whole situation?
Yeah, just a little bit. I certainly understand his reasoning as far as not taking hits as a running back and kind of wanting to, save his body for college and potentially run a pro career. But that it certainly hurts for Klein Cain, but they do bring back some talented players. Carson Roper was an all-district quarterback last year. He's got Matthew Golden coming back at wide receiver, who has several college offers, most notably probably TCU and Arkansas, and a good chunk of the offensive line coming back as well. So they've got some talent coming back other than Blue, but as far as the team goes for their ceiling for this season, district championship certainly still attainable, but the ceiling definitely goes down a little bit without Blue.
Well, with that being said, what else in the district looks good to you? Talk to me about how you think this one's going to play out and maybe who's going to make playoff runs.
Now, you look at Tomball Memorial, and they lose Colton Marwell at quarterback. They lose Joseph Manjack. Really was a kind of a Swiss Army knife on that offense. Played a little quarterback when Marwell got hurt, receiver, a little time at running back. He was really a do-it-all kid. So they'll miss those guys a lot, but they do return running back Richard Rodriguez, who had a great year, and wide receiver Chase Lovick, who also had a pretty good year himself. And then Klein Collins and Klein Oak are always solid. Klein Collins won this district 5 years in a row previous to last season. So I'm interested to see how they bounce back, having to replace a quarterback yet again.
We will see how that thing plays out, but next week we're going to talk 16-6A, and that's the district that's got two of the best players in the state in it. So I'm interested to see your opinion on that district next week.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us here on the Campfire. Wiz, you guys did great as always. That's all we have for this week's episode of the Campfire. We have content coming at you all week for 15-6A. But until next time, I'm Ashley Bullington, and thank you so much for joining us.